Welcome to AI Business TV here at the AI Summit New York, where we're very pleased to be joined today by Mark Tabladillo, who's the Cloud Solution Architect at Microsoft. Welcome,
Yes.
How are you doing?
Great, and glad to be here, Amy.
Great, how's your AI Summit treating you so far?
It's wonderful. So it's great to be here in New York and so close to so much energy. And we're even so close to the Microsoft office here, but as we've seen in the panel behind us, there's so many vendors here and so many people involved and key leaders in this industry leading and doing so many initiatives. So it's just a lot of great energy.
Wonderful, it's great to have Microsoft here. And I must congratulate you because you've just been shortlisted as AI Innovator of the Year 2019. The announcement's going to happen a little later today. What kind of led you into the world of tech and specifically AI?
So I think my interest in AI started early on, interest early in science and math. And I've just pursued that throughout my career, through my doctorate at Georgia Tech, which I'll call out my school. Loved being there. And since then, my career's been largely working with clients. And I think that if there's one thought leader that I could point to early in my career, it was a man, W. Edwards Deming. And he was an American statistician that worked with the Japanese after World War II to help rebuild their industry. There are many people that have influenced my career, but he was out there to make a difference in industry. He was there to help a nation rebuild, and they honored him over time by inviting him back many times over the years to get his wisdom. I got to meet him late in his life before he died, which was a treat for me, and one of my dissertation advisors was one of his aides. So he was a thought leader in terms of my own career. Since then, I've been involved with many industries and companies in the United States and also around the world. And so I've had a chance to work on a lot of interesting projects since then.
Fantastic. So let's talk a little bit about those projects and kind of your role at Microsoft then. Kind of what AI projects have you kind of been spearheading in your role currently at Microsoft?
Right. Well, some of the new interesting projects, and I'll talk about a team that recently went just in this last month to India. And we went there to work with one of our clients, and we were sharing our new technology in AI cognitive search. I have introduced the subject this way. Perhaps search is the #1 use of the internet. It might not be one app, but it's a feature that we find in many applications. We already know at Microsoft that it's one of our most popular AI offerings, and it's a theme that a lot of people are building their AI solutions around. And of course, Microsoft, we have many AI products in categories of vision and speech, and so many categories, but when it comes down to the very human condition of looking for information, that is such a cross-cultural and widespread industry need that we think it can translate well into a lot of business cases beyond just what we've known in the past. And we have, today people's experience with search is like searching in search engines. But people are searching for information. They're looking for people, they're looking for solutions, they're looking for resources. And to help organizations build that capability is a very exciting thing. So in our trip to India, we had a team of 10 coaches, and I was among those coaches that was working with this organization of other leaders to embed search or look for ways to add search to their already existing capabilities. And that will be one of the innovative ways. Working alongside with companies to build those solutions is something that really energizes me as a professional. I'm very interested in having people adopt their skill sets. So whatever new skill sets and whatever creativity and innovation people have, people are very creative, and just giving them the tools and seeing them being able to run at full speed with these technologies is, to me, a very exciting and rewarding experience.
Wonderful. So let's have a look then at the use cases, how AI has been adopted within business currently. There's a lot of misconceptions around AI for enterprise. Kind of what are the top ones that you're seeing still being discussed at quite length or debated about currently?
Right. That's such a great question. In terms of misconception, people are wondering how to align. And I almost have a paradoxical response. And on one hand, people think AI is very difficult. But in some areas, it's actually really easy. And Microsoft's not alone in making AI technologies that are very simple for developers to use and get started. And I know this from having monitored several college hackathons this year. We had one at Georgia Tech and Georgia State. And students just within a few hours were able to get going very quickly. So it was a lot easier than they thought. And on the other hand, sometimes people think it's very easy and actually it's difficult. And in some of the difficult topics might have to do with data quality or getting the right data or putting data in the correct form. So realigning perception with reality is often the conversation that we have with our customers. And it's not the same for the same two customers. We get two customers, for example, in the financial services business, and by the way, we've talked to a lot of them over here at the Forbes Lounge. They may have similar types of topics, but then they might not have the same exact situation. So they might have slightly different use cases and personas. So it becomes a very tailored and customized conversation, and you know what? It's what we would expect. We're in the area of customization and personalization. A lot of people are looking to AI to create a much more personalized technology experience, so the organizations also are going to find there's going to be general patterns they can follow, but that last mile is going to be the creativity of their own leadership to customize the experience.
Wonderful. So would you say there are any sort of standout kind of challenges when people are kind of navigating their AI roadmap generally when they first start out, or do you see it quite, there's kind of unique cases or a case-by-case basis, people are navigating different challenges in different capacities and in different ways, or are there some examples of kind of major kind of roadblocks for different, regardless of the enterprise type, whether it's finance,
right,
healthcare, what are you kind of seeing generally?
Right, and I think it's great to look at the challenges when leaders are possibly considering AI. They do need to consider potential roadblocks that might be out there. And one of the areas I feel that will be a challenge is even inspired by a book I used for my dissertation, which was called Leadership Challenge. Leadership generally is a topic, but then more recently, and when I work with customers, AI can be an individual activity. There's often many organizations can have that solo data science or AI specialist that is charged with leading a project, but also it's also a team sport, and learning how to get the right team behind what AI can be. What kind of team could that be? That could be the data engineer, the application developer, the data scientist, the AI specialist, the DevOps person, the project manager. So a coach, and involving all the team players and deciding on how large should this team be. Do we have capacity to have 6 people for all those roles? Do those roles need to be bundled in 1 or 2 people? It is a lot different from organizing sports, and as many sports fans know, that's hard enough along defined rules. And on top of that, in the business world, people are often running several gameplays at the same time. A very challenging time to be involved, and I think even a good reason that many people need to be connected to communities and conferences such as AI Summit, and continuing to go, stay in the conversation, find out how people are organizing.
Wonderful. That's a really interesting point about how human AI actually is at the end of the day. It is about people, leadership, people defining the path to their kind of AI project and their success, really. We talk a lot about kind of the future trends and things, which I want to get onto. But kind of looking back at, you've been with Microsoft for a while, kind of what kind of key milestones have you seen within AI that has really pushed the industry forward, would you say?
Right. Well, I think a lot of people would point to the development of deep learning as really one of the breakthrough mathematical developments, which has spurred on a lot of innovation and research and products. And for Microsoft, we have an entire Microsoft research with so many dozens of data scientists and AI scientists that have now taken those products and made them available to the public. From Microsoft and so many other companies, and we're not alone, but really the industry is saying, let's look to open source as the basis. Let's have a community discussion on what technology development should mean. And what I'm so excited about is when we see the innovation in areas like Spark and in Python, and even in specific languages where deep learning has become forefront. All those technologies together have been has what spurred on so much innovation and quick to market. And now we see products just hitting the market regularly. Like every month it seems, there's new innovations coming from the same companies and even from new companies. People have a lot of new ideas and they're germinating a lot of new energy, and the tools are out there both in terms of hardware and software. So this is actually a really great time to be involved in AI.
Wonderful. And kind of then looking to the future, what do you think we're going to be discussing and debating and talking about or showcasing here at the AI Summit in 2020, 2021, 2022? What's going to be the next big thing in AI, do you think?
Right. I think maybe 3 areas I'm going to pick. One area that I think is exciting just in terms of practical things is more discussions about pipelines. When I say pipelines, I'm talking about technologies that take data from the beginning to the end. What type of technologies are needed to do that? Why? Because people talk about the other side, bureaucracy, red tape. Well, there's a bureaucracy and red tape maybe in the technical field and the data world too. Many organizations are working on pipelines to streamline that and make that go forward. Second area of interest, originally I started life as an electrical engineer, all involved in devices. And now it seems we're coming around on the importance of devices and what that will mean for AI. So people are very interested now in what we're calling the edge, and what does AI mean at the edge? Maybe the disconnected edge or the continuously connected edge? What does it mean for devices, the devices that people use as consumers daily or also as organizations? So, that's a second area. And then the third area I think that we are all talking about is ethics. And Microsoft's made some statements on ethics. I got to work with some of our key teams in shaping our messaging on that topic. And as we go forward, and I think even as what I've observed in working with teams in Microsoft, it's not going to be one voice that's going to say this is our ethical position. There might be one representative that's going to express that, but as in the conversations I've been with internal to Microsoft and also with customers, and it's going to expand to communities, it's going to expand to users, stakeholders, it's going to be very communal. So even people far beyond the technical level of knowledge of something like this conference are going to be very interested in the ethical conversations of how to use it responsibly and how are we good stewards of what we have.
Without a doubt. Thank you so much, Mark. Thanks for joining us and enjoy the rest of your AI Summit.
Thanks, Amy.